It's been a strange 24 hours or so in Black Ops 6. Strange in the way that I'm not sure that we've seen Call of Duty ever do this before, offering not one, not even two, but three major updates in the way of Black Ops 6 in the span of just one day. Yesterday we talked about the first, later last night another update went out late into the evening, and then today we got an early launch of ranked play coming and everything else that entails. So today we're wrapping up everything here ahead of tomorrow's additional planned update for the hit list event, but drop your thoughts as we go along and make sure to drop a like if you enjoy the video. As well, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6. We've still got a lot on deck that I'd love to have in the community for as we chase down 700,000 subscribers. But for now, let's get into it. So let's go at this sequentially. Last night's update first, what changed, what's new. While on paper there's not a whole ton of major things quantity-wise, there's a few things that are absolutely worth mentioning that you should definitely know. Firstly, Black Ops 6, starting there on the multiplayer side of things here and zombies, movement was adjusted where there were reductions to the minimum sprint time required to perform dive to prone or slide movements. And additionally, it fixed an issue that could cause players being unable to sprint when performing several actions within a short period of time. That's something that I don't quite know if it was just me or if this was genuinely something that I was feeling at every single turn. The last couple of days, I just absolutely felt like my character had cinder blocks attached to their feet because it just felt so much slower than what I remember being, and it's possible it could have been something that was wrong with the classes I was using, and maybe it was coincidence that this update went out as I prestiged and then reset all my classes, or it could have actually been the case. But anyways, there were some changes to those movement attributes. Now, as for multiplayer, another thing that was adjusted here was players will now no longer be taken out of a sprint when taking forward-facing bullet damage with a melee weapon equipped. This is something you may or may not have noticed, but it was something that was definitely problematic. It almost was as if weapons had the frangible effect to it from prior Call of Duty games. Anytime you had a melee weapon out, it would stun you and just make you immobile, which if you're going for melee challenges, either your bat or your knife, that's obviously a big issue that you have to face at that point. So that is a huge change and it's definitely nice to see that removed. I have absolutely no idea why that was ever a thing, but nice to see that was remedied. Zombies, we saw a few notable glitches that expedited the camo grinds were patched here. That was the big thing with these, where the Terminus infinite spawning bug has been patched and the infinite gobblegum effects were also patched as well. These ones, there's no way that I think people really expected this wouldn't happen. They were very obvious glitches, so if you got those bonuses out of them, I know a few people got like 12 plus guns done with all of their headshots in less than a day. Good for you if that's the case, but if you're like me, you didn't get any of those, that shortcut's now gone. There's probably going to be one that pops up here again in the near future. I'm actually surprised at how many glitches there have been within zombies that haven't been like game breaking and detrimental to other people's experiences, but have just like helped to expedite the process of some of the long grinds. Kind of surprised we've seen so many this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if another one pops up in the near future. And then directed mode was also something that they added an exfil timer and cap of the 5-hour mark. Though frankly, I'm not staying in directed mode for 5 hours at a time, or if I am and I'm just grinding levels, I'm saving and quitting first. Doesn't take me that long to get my 2,000 headshots, doesn't take me that long to rank up a weapon from 1 to max level if I were to do that. So for me personally, that's a non-issue, and if that's the only things adjusted to the directed mode, I'm okay with that. Like I feel like that'd be a decent compromise that doesn't kill this sort of fun factor of grinding out the zombies camos. But anyways, Warzone also saw a few specific big changes to Specialist in particular. The biggest one was the weapon trade stations have been adjusted for the chance of giving Specialist bonus, but also they removed the care package kill streak as a reward from the weapon trade stations. And those two, if you first look at them, probably wouldn't seem like they make too much sense. Like, why does one affect the other? But that actually essentially gets rid of an infinite Specialist glitch that persisted. You could trade in for a care package. That care package you would call in would then give you a redacted weapon. You trade in that redacted weapon and it would guarantee you a Specialist bonus. And then, well, you can see where the cycle could continue at that point, where you get a care package for another redacted weapon, trade that in for a care package and Specialist, and then get another redacted weapon and do it all over and over again. So it was pretty easy to get your entire team set up with Specialist bonus. The problem that still persists even outside of this is that if you do get Specialist at any point, though, it appears that it still is overwritten if you get your loadout after obtaining Specialist, because it doesn't drop as a sort of lootable perk pack as we've seen it in the past from when you swap out perks. So after you air quote trade it for your loadout perks, you lose it for good. So if you want to get Specialist, make sure you have it after your selected loadout of choice, just as a heads up. Gameplay changes, we saw a few additional things here where reload times for Black Ops 6 assault rifles and LMGs were reduced by 10%. I'll happily take that. Getting a faster base reload is something that is absolutely a win, I think. And then those movement changes we talked about in Black Ops 6, those were also applied to Warzone. So that was the first update we saw late last night into this morning. But what about the one that happened earlier today? Update number 2, or I guess 3 of 3 in the last 24 to 30 hours or so. That was ranked play going live early, which is nice to see, but it's also kind of odd that we're 2 for 2 now on post-launch content additions that have gone live early. Not entirely sure why, but again, hey, you can grind out ranked play a little earlier now if you'd like to. So a quick overview of what's available and visible in-game. You have the SR divisions from bronze to top 250 as usual, a condensed career rank where you no longer have that standalone 1 to 50 rank for the entire year. Instead, it's just folded into your SR and seasonal ranking. New challenges, skins, and rewards come in the way of challenges, rank skins, and seasonal rewards overall. The challenges, that's for the entire year, not necessarily just one singular season. Upwards of rewards for 1,000 wins where it caps out. At 50 wins, you end up getting a camo. At 1,000 wins, you get a knife blueprint and an emblem. And then you have rewards sprinkled throughout, again, all the way upwards of 1,000 wins. This is for your career. So again, you can do this in the entire 6 seasons you have on offer, or I mean, maybe, hey, if you grind this out, you only play ranked play, you play nonstop, maybe you get it done in a season or 2. But ranked skins are where you finish from your seasonal placements and will be rewarded at the beginning of season 2. These are rewarded for the highest that you peak at, upwards of iridescent. So let's just say you end up hitting iridescent, but you derank down to crimson by season end, you'll end up getting the iridescent skin here with this. That's how that applies to all divisions minus the top 250. That top 250 skin, or even if you're chasing down that champion number 1 of 1 skin, that's where you have to finish at that placing. So if you were in the top 250, but then took a week off or something like that and you finish outside the money, you won't earn those top 250 skins, unfortunately. You'll finish with the iridescent skin at that point. Seasonal rewards, kind of the same, just bonus emblems and decals, again, based off of seasonal placements, but I do wish there were camos involved with this. Maybe next season though. Additional foundational changes, map and mode veto is introduced this year with ranked play in Black Ops 6. SR forgiveness isn't necessarily foundationally new, but there's a new forgiveness for players if they lose their first match of the day. No matter your rank, each player's first loss of the day will be forgiven and not deduct SR. One and done though, so you only get 1 per 24 hours. Does not stack, nothing like that. So for some this may seem corny, others, like me, I kind of like it. I mean, everybody has those days where they just start cold sometimes. And yeah, I guess you could argue that, like, yeah, it's part of the game. You got to make sure you're ready. But it's nice to not be immediately dragged down into, like, Elo hell or something like that, where you just can't get things going. So starting off on the wrong foot, I'm sure everybody likes to avoid that. This now offers a way to do that. You have match forfeiting, which a team can then vote to cancel or forfeit the match for no additional SR penalties. And then the party skill restrictions were lifted for full 4-man squads. Only full 4-man squads. Anyone can play with anybody at that point, but matchmaking still goes from the top down. So if you're an iridescent player, you can play with your bronze or gold friends, but they might not like it so much. 2 to 3-man parties, though, still are held to the prior skill restrictions where bronze to platinum can play no matter what, diamond can party up or down 2 ranks, so gold to iridescent, and then iridescent and above can only match within 1 rank. So if you're iridescent, you can match with crimson or top 250 players, and top 250 players will only match as low as iridescent players. So that's the update that we got for ranked play and everything else before that as well. Kind of surprised that we ended up having 3 updates here, major updates within a 24 to 30 hour span. And again, we do have that event coming as of tomorrow that we'll probably touch on here on the channel as well. So it feels weird doing back-to-back to maybe back update videos, but I mean, I think there was some substantial stuff that you should definitely know about here out of these. So I want to fill you guys in before we wrap everything up. A quick shout out to my friends over at Gamer Advantage. They just released their new Horizon 2.0 frames, which I've been loving for the week or so that I've had them ahead of launch here. And the Horizons were always my favorite frames of theirs to begin with. Lightweight, durable, and the clear frames, if you had those ones, honestly felt like you didn't have anything on at all. Now with the 2.0s, the new versions, they're more durable, sturdier. Like the frame strength and build is the first thing I noticed with my review pair they sent me, and of course, they're still incredibly comfortable. So full transparency, they're a bit more of an investment, but I do think if you're like me and you're looking at a phone, monitor, or gaming for a good chunk of the day, like Black Ops 6 has absolutely consumed me almost this whole month. Can we talk about how crazy it is that we've almost had Black Ops 6 for a month now at this point already? But if you're like me, community. At the very least, I'd recommend checking out their website where they can better break down the science and all behind it. But having worked with them for going on 4 years, what I can personally say is I'd highly recommend them. So if you'd like to learn more for yourself, check the link in the description below. And if you want to pick something up for yourself, use code Espresso to get 10% off your entire order. But for now, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. Anything you like out of these updates, dislike, whatever the case, drop your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for all things Black Ops 6. Still a lot up on deck, so I'd love to have you in the community. For now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.